Elena hadn't meant to stop at the cafe. The rain forced her in, drenching her hair and shoes. She shook off the water, only to freeze when her gaze landed on the man by the window. Daniel. Her Daniel. Or at least, the man who once was. He looked up, startled, as if he too had been caught in a storm he hadn't prepared for. For a moment, neither moved. The world outside blurred in sheets of rain, but inside, her chest burned with an old ache. "Daniel," he whispered, "you came back." Her lips pressed into a thin line. "You make it sound like I owed you." They sat across from each other, the silence heavy. Every gesture, every stolen glance, felt like walking on broken glass. She wanted to demand answers. Why had he left her standing at the altar 15 years ago? Why had she spent months believing she wasn't enough? But the words lodged in her throat, trapped behind pride and the years of trying to forget. Daniel broke the silence first. "I tried to explain back then. You didn't give me the chance." "You left me a note, Daniel. A note. You think that was enough?" The bitterness shocked her, sharp and raw as if no time had passed. Later, Elena learned Daniel was engaged. The woman's name was Clara, and she was everything Elena wasn't. Graceful, steady, rooted in the town Elena had abandoned. Clara greeted Elena warmly when they met at the grocery store. Too warmly. And Elena's heart twisted when Clara linked her arm with Daniel's so casually, as if she had every right. But Daniel's eyes told a different story. Every time he looked at Elena, it was as if he was remembering something he had lost, but never stopped yearning for. The truth crept in slowly. Daniel hadn't abandoned her out of coldness. His father had fallen ill the night before their wedding. The family demanded he stay, sacrifice his future to take over the crumbling farm. Out of duty, he wrote her that note, clumsy words that shattered everything. And Elena, she discovered she hadn't been entirely innocent either. In her rush to escape the pain, she ignored his letters she never knew existed, hidden by her own aunt who believed Daniel was beneath her. Elena avoided Daniel for days, but small towns had a way of forcing encounters. One evening, she walked by the riverbank, where the willows hung low, their branches brushing the water. She used to come here with him, barefoot, whispering dreams of their future. Now he was there again, sitting on the old wooden bench. "You're following me," she said, her voice tight. He looked up, exhaustion in his eyes. "I could say the same." They sat in uneasy silence. Finally, he spoke. "I never stopped loving you, Elena. Not then, not now." Her heart stuttered, but she turned away. "You're engaged, Daniel. Love isn't a game you can pick up when it suits you." But his words haunted her long after she left. Clara was kind, too kind. At the town's harvest fair, she pressed a warm hand into Elena's. "You're Daniel's Elena, aren't you? He's mentioned you." Elena's stomach twisted, mentioned, as if she were a ghost still lingering in his life. "Yes, once upon a time," Elena answered carefully. But Clara's smile was steady. "He hasn't been the same since you left. I knew there was someone before me, but I never realized she'd walk back into town." Elena didn't know whether to pity Clara or envy her. One rainy morning, while sorting through her late aunt's attic, Elena stumbled upon a box. Inside were dozens of unopened envelopes, her name written in Daniel's handwriting. Her chest tightened as she tore one open. "Elena, I don't know how to explain what happened that night, but please don't hate me. I'll make it right. Just wait for me." Her hands shook as she opened another. "Elena, it's been 2 months. I come to the cafe every evening, hoping you'll walk in. Please, let me explain. Don't give up on us." Tears blurred her vision. 15 years of silence hadn't been silence at all. She stormed into the cafe where Daniel was seated, her fist clutching the letters. "You wrote them," she said, voice trembling. His eyes widened. "You found them?" Her anger cracked, grief spilling out. "All this time, I thought you didn't care. I thought you threw me away." "I never stopped fighting for you," he said, his voice breaking. "But your aunt, she kept them from you, didn't she?" Her heart thundered. All the wasted years, all the bitterness had been built on lies. But then came the cruel reminder. Clara, his fiancée. Daniel stood at a crossroads. The life he had built with Clara, stable, expected, honorable, and the love of his youth, raw and unfinished, standing before him with tears in her eyes. "Alina," he whispered, "I can't pretend I don't still love you, but if I break Clara's heart, what kind of man does that make me?" Elena swallowed hard. "And if you marry her, Daniel, what kind of life will you live? One where you spend every day wondering what we could have been?" Daniel couldn't sleep for nights after Elena confronted him with the letters. Clara noticed. She wasn't blind. She saw the way his eyes lingered when Elena walked into a room, the way silence fell heavy between them. One evening, Clara spoke first. "Daniel," she said quietly, "I don't want to be someone's second choice." He looked at her, guilt etched deep. "You're not—" But Clara shook her head, her smile sad but resolute. "You love her. I see it every time you look at her, and I deserve a love that looks at me the same way." She returned the ring to him, and though her hands trembled, her voice did not. "Don't waste another 15 years, Daniel. Go." Daniel ran, literally, through the rain-soaked streets of the town, heart pounding like it had the night he almost lost her forever. He found Elena by the old riverbank, the place where everything had started. She stood there, gazing at the water, her face streaked with tears. "Elena!" His voice cracked through the storm. She turned, startled. "Daniel, what are you—" He caught her hand, gripping it like a lifeline. "I lost you once because of silence and duty. I won't lose you again." Her tears spilled freely. "And Clara? She deserves someone who loves her the way I love you. And I can't lie anymore. It's always been you." The rain poured harder, drenching them both. Daniel reached for her hand, gripping it as if he had been waiting a lifetime. "Elena," he said, his voice breaking, "I lost you once because I didn't fight hard enough. I won't make the same mistake again." Her eyes filled with tears. "We can't go back to who we were, Daniel. Too much has happened." He stepped closer, not with urgency, but with quiet certainty. "Then let's not go back. Let's start over, as who we are now." For a long moment, they stood together in the storm, simply holding hands, the years of distance finally closing between them. Daniel pressed a gentle kiss to her forehead, a promise more than a plea, and Elena, her voice barely above the sound of the rain, whispered, "This time, I'm not letting go."